This is block 5 laid out. So we have 2 mitered corners. This is going to be so fun, and it looks so good when it's done. So what we want to do is we want to first sew these 2 pieces all together. So we're going to sew this square and these corners together to make a square that's the same size as this one, and we'll do the same thing on the other side. Once we have these as squares, then we can simply just sew all 4 together like we normally would.
When you're sewing this piece, you want to sew not all the way to the end. So you want to stop about right here to give yourself a little bit of wiggle room to fit in that miter. So I'm going to start sewing. All right, and like I said, I'm going to leave a little bit of room so that I can work with that miter. So I'm going to stop about there, maybe a little bit further. All right, there, so that I can work with that seam.
What I have here is I have sewn this piece to here, so from this end to here, so I didn't go all the way to the end. I've pressed it open, and now I'm going to place this piece on my square, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to sew from here to not quite the end to about there, and what that gets me is here. So I've got 2 pieces half sewn to the square, and it overlaps just a little bit. So at this point, what you want to do is you want to match up your corners so that you can sew them together. So you're going to sew from here to about here. So you'll still have a little bit of a hole. And how you're going to fill in that hole is when you open it up, you're going to end up sewing again the rest of what's missing until you get a neat pleat.
I've got my edges together. Now I'm going to sew a 1/4 inch seam as far as I can until I'm just about to hit the square. And then you don't have to, but I'm going to do a back space and a front space to make sure my stitches don't come out.
Check this out, guys. I've got a hole. I've sewn my stuff together and now I have a hole. That's okay though. We're going to fix it. So if you have a hole, you've done it right. How's that? So you're going to fold it over and try to keep this other yellow out of the way as best as you can, and then you're going to stitch all along as far as you can without getting this other yellow piece, and do the same thing on this side, and then press it open, and voila, I promise you'll have a beautiful pleat, or mitered corner rather. I told you it would work out. My hole is gone. Everything is pieced together so lovely. And my favorite part of this process is cutting off the wing. So here I go. You gotta watch me do my favorite part. Oh, super fun. All right, so I'm gonna make another one of these, and then we're gonna sew our 4 squares together. Ready for the next step? I'm gonna sew this square to this square to this square. So I will have 2 strips. We're almost done. Just sew these 2 pieces together. Remember to meet your corners so that they match up. And look, we've got opposite directions, my favorite, so they fit together. Pin them, and then we're on our way. Our block is done. And you're done. I hope you guys had as much fun as I did. You need to make a total of 4 of these blocks, and then we'll talk about how to finish your quilt. Okay guys, after your 5th block is done, you're gonna need to cut some squares to fill in the spots. So if you look behind me, these little blue squares that I have, I'm gonna try to point to them while I look over here. They're gonna be in the directions for free on my website. So don't worry, the exact measurements will be on the website and the exact number that you need to fill in all your spaces. I think they're 4.5 by 4.5, and I can't tell you how many I cut to fill in all the spaces, but it will be in the pattern for free on my website. So make sure that you fill that out. Now, putting the quilt together, it's a little bit of a puzzle. There are some seams that you have to sew partial, and then sew another seam so that you can finish that partial seam. So if you look here in this, where am I at? This one. There. No. Where's it at? Oh, right here. Okay. So see how we have a seam going in the middle of the other seam? Hopefully you saw what I was talking about. But basically you have partial seams and you have to sew them together kind of like a puzzle. So just be careful when you're sewing it together, and if you make mistakes, you can always start again. No big deal. This is supposed to be fun, so don't get frustrated. If you get frustrated, walk away and come back. Hopefully that helped you guys. I've had a lot of fun with this. It has been a lot of fun. It doesn't feel like 5 weeks though. Feels like it went by really quickly. So now I'm just gonna machine quilt it and figure out who I'm gonna give it to. So we'll see you guys around for the next quilt mystery.